And welcome back, All Sports WNY. Monday, new defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, Jim Schwartz, met with the Buffalo media. We had a chance to go out there, myself and videographer Tim Batt, as both Doug Marrone and Jim Schwartz talked about the new position in Buffalo.
I appreciate everyone coming. Obviously, you know, I'm very excited. Our organization is excited that we were able to go out and hire a defensive coordinator who has obviously an unbelievable track record. You know, I've obviously, professionally, I've known Jim for quite a while. You know, when you know, we actually went against each other. We had a lot of common friends at the Tennessee Titans staff. Mike Heimerdinger, who's passed away, was a very good friend of mine. We always talked about how well he worked with Jim Washburn, a defensive line coach. Obviously, Jeff Fisher. Having watched his defenses, the way they played, it goes back to my original theory. You know, when you look at, you know, high-end defensive coordinators, you want to look at people that you don't like going against their defense. Jim's defenses have always been very tough, very difficult to run on, very difficult to score on. They've been aggressive, and it's been very tough to game plan against them. So we were very fortunate that we were able to, with Russ Brandon and Doug Whaley giving me the opportunity, or the organization the opportunity, to get on a plane in Mobile, fly up, sit down with Jim, and be able to get this done. So without further ado, I'll bring up our new defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. Come on, John.
Thanks, Doug. I'm not one for a whole lot of opening statements or anything. I do want to thank Doug, and Russ for the opportunity. I've been an admirer of this organization for a long time, and you know, Coach Marrone mentioned having respect for people you go against, and I think some of the kind words he had for me are reciprocated. I feel the same way about him. And you know, when you're a head coach and you know, you find yourself on the outside, you want your next opportunity to be you want to be very careful about your next opportunity. And I was in this case, and I didn't step into this lightly, not only from the administration here and the ownership and the coaching staff, but also from a player standpoint. This is a tremendous opportunity for a defensive coach. You know, I didn't watch very much of the game last night, but it didn't take, you know, any NFL fan very long to put that game on and not see a Buffalo Bills hat running around somewhere. So I think there's some you know, some real positives here that we can build on, and that's the longest opening statement I've ever made. So I'll take questions.
Jim, John Worrell with the Associated Press. Welcome to Buffalo. The challenges and the opportunity you have here, what did you see in a team that has a lot of fixtures, pass rushing fixtures, and how do you plan to adapt them to your style? How difficult will it be to adapt what Pettin did to your style? Well,
I think that first of all, Mike and I are different guys. And even though I think continuity is important, there's something to be said for that. We're going to look very hard over the next few months at ways to keep as much continuity as we can. You know, from a coaching standpoint, I think a lot of times it's coaches adapting to players. You know, we have some outstanding players up front. You know, it goes beyond Mario Williams, goes beyond Kyle Williams, goes beyond Marcel Darius. I mean, Alan Branch, Jerry Hughes. You know, I'm sure I'm overlooking a lot of guys, but there's some talent up front. It's our job as coaches to put those guys in good position to make plays, whether that's carryover from last year's scheme, whether that's new things that we bring. I think that's what coaching is all about, is putting your players in position to make plays, and that'll be a pretty easy group to do it. You know, we'll be fast, we'll be physical, we want to attack. We're not going to be a reading defense. There's going to be a lot of defensive linemen that are real happy to play in a system like that.
Where are you in the process of assembling your staff right now, and how much of that is your decision as opposed to Doug's?
Well, first of all, it's not my staff. It's the head coach's staff. And I think, do you want to take that now?
Yeah, just, you know, as of right now, obviously, you know, Jim O'Neill was granted permission. He'll be leaving to go to Cleveland as a defensive coordinator, to the best of my knowledge. Brian Flory, who's a quality control coach, will be leaving to go to Cleveland, to the best of my knowledge, as an assistant linebacker coach. And also Jeff Hafley, who really wasn't here long, will be leaving for Cleveland, to the best of my knowledge, working with the secondary in Cleveland. As far as we're concerned, Jim and I and the rest of the defensive staff will work together and, bring the best coaches in here. That's our responsibility, to Mr. Wilson, to Russ, to Doug, and more importantly, to our players. We have a lot of good players on defense. I mean, that's not a secret. So for us, we're going to bring the coach in here that can best work together, that can communicate well, and get the most out of our players. And we have a lot of talent there.
Sure. How important was some continuity? Oh, this is a defense that is now on its 4th defensive coordinator. Not that it's that's something of your doing, but how much was some semblance of continuity important in electing to hire Jim?
Well, I think that continuity meaning in schematics, or continuity meaning in people, or
schematics approach, maybe.
Well, schematics approach, we were already on the edge. I think what you see in every organization is that you are going to see change, from year to year. And that was one of the things that I was getting ready to talk about. That some of the things that we were going to change, in our defense, so to make us better. I think that Jim said it before. I think that it's our responsibility as coaches to put the players in the best situation possible. To make it as easy as them, with calls that they can go out there and just play. And I think that's what our goal is, to make sure that they can just go out there and play. And if we can make something easier for them, where we can be more productive, then that's what we're going to do.
Just as far as the other coaches, if you didn't mention, Donnie, Anthony Weaver, Samson Brown, are they staying here?
Donnie Henderson will be our defensive back coach. Samson Brown will be our assistant defensive back coach. Right now with Anthony Weaver, I've had a conversation with him today. And again, Russ and I had this conversation. It's very important for us in this organization and this region. I think every fan and everyone out there totally understands that, we want people that want to be here. And I think that's the most important thing, and that's the most important message. Russ has said it quite a bit to me. And that's one of the things why I'm excited about Jim. We talked to Jim. Jim wanted to be here. Todd Downing wanted to be here. Those are the type of people that we're looking for, people that can become part of the community, part of this region, be a positive influence on that, and at the same time getting this football program back to where we all want it to be.
And Buffalo Bills head coach Doug Marrone, and also new defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. And if body language tells you anything, that's not a news conference. Coach Marrone, I think, wanted to hold. I think they're very happy with bringing somebody of the caliber of Jim Schwartz into the team. But to lose Mike Pettin and so many of the defensive coordinators, it's kind of a step back, and now they'll have to do a new transition. But Schwartz has done some good things as a defensive coordinator, so we'll see how that turns out. When we come back, we're going to talk about fundraising for junior achievement through bowling right after these messages on All Sports WNY.